Samantha, what are you trying to do here? This is my home.
Excuse me? What are you talking about? This is mine, isn't it?
I can't believe it. You've actually taken over the apartment.
Taken over? Don't say things that make me look bad.
Until just now, I was living here.
Andrew passed away, and yet you think you can still stay here? This is where my family is going to be, so get out.
That makes no sense.
I already told you. This place used to belong to Andrew, my late brother, didn't it? And now that he's gone, you, who aren't even blood related, have no right to live here.
But the way you've gone about this is disgusting. You said you wanted to sort through his belongings, so I let you into the house. And then you went behind my back, changed the locks, and locked me out? What is wrong with you? Let me back in right now. Give me my house back.
Oh, come on, are you serious? This is your fault, isn't it? You knew I was in the house and you still left, didn't you? That basically means you gave me permission to do whatever I wanted. So stop acting like the victim.
I had to step out for an urgent matter at work. I didn't have a choice, and it was only for an hour. And in that short time, you called a locksmith and changed the locks? That's beyond rude. It's insane.
Oh, I had the guy come over right away, so yeah, it cost a bit extra, but honestly, totally worth it. This place is amazing. The view is incredible, it's spacious, and it's everything I've ever wanted. You can just go find somewhere else to rent.
Give it back. This home is something Andrew left me. It's full of memories of him and it means everything to me.
Excuse me? What nonsense are you saying? Left it to you? It's not yours. It's mine. It belongs to my family.
What are you talking about?
Listen, the one who paid for this place was Andrew, right? And the name on the deed is his, isn't it? Marriage ends when one of you dies. You don't even have kids together. So, isn't it way more logical for my family, who has 4 kids, to use this place instead? I mean, come on, that's just common sense. Or are you pretending not to understand? If so, that's just downright shameless and greedy of you.
Andrew told me about how you used to take advantage of him when he was alive. But I never imagined you'd go this far after his death. I'm honestly disgusted. How can you act like this even after he's gone?
He may be gone, but he's still my brother. Of course, family takes precedence over an outsider like you. It's only natural for his family to use his things. You know, he never had to struggle the way I did. I've always been the one sacrificing, struggling, living a poor life. He got to live comfortably, have nice things, and be happy. It's not fair. So, whatever he had, it's mine now. This is a family matter, so keep your nose out of it. You're the one being a nuisance here.
I'm asking you to leave the apartment. I don't care about your sob story. Don't twist the issue.
He had all the good things in life. I'm sure he's up in heaven now, wishing his big sister all the happiness in the world.
Even if that's true, taking someone else's home is unthinkable. It's a space filled with memories of him. Please, I'm begging you, leave. Diane, I need your advice on something. What is it, Lisa? Samantha has taken over my home. Taken over? What do you mean? She changed the locks on my apartment without asking and kicked me out. No matter what I say, she refuses to listen. I don't know what to do. Could you please talk to her and convince her to stop? She changed the locks? Why on earth would she do something like that? What's going on here? Well, while I stepped out briefly, she called a locksmith and had the locks changed. Now I can't get back into my own home. She insists it's her family home now and keeps telling me to leave. Oh my God, are you kidding me? Let me call her and find out what's going on. I'm at a loss. Samantha isn't responding to my calls or messages. Oh no. Honestly, what is she thinking? I'm so sorry she's causing you trouble. I'll head to the apartment right now. Hopefully she'll listen to me. Thank you so much, Diane. I don't mean to overstep, but I have to say this. Her obsession with money seems extreme. She mentioned something about her past, but what exactly caused her to become like this? If she and her husband were struggling financially, I might understand, but this just seems abnormal. You're right to ask. Maybe it's time I told you. When she was little, my late husband had a serious accident and was unable to work. I had to step in and support the family. But back then, it wasn't common for women to work outside the home, so all I could manage was small jobs. We lived in a deep poverty during that time. I think those years distorted her perspective. But wasn't that only for a short period? Yes. It lasted about a couple of years, I think. Andrew never really spoke about it. In fact, I thought they grew up in a relatively well-off environment. That's true. By the time he was born, our finances had recovered. But that recovery only made things worse for Samantha. She began to see it as unfair that she had endured hardship while her younger brother grew up in comfort. She started taking things from him. I see. Of course, I tried to reason with her many times, and while we couldn't give her everything she wanted, we tried to make up for what she felt she missed. But it seems that only made her more selfish. She grew up so difficult that even I couldn't manage her anymore. I'm truly sorry, Lisa. I can't believe she's brought this trouble to you as well. Diane, this isn't your fault. Honestly, if I were in your position, I wouldn't know how to handle a child who had been through such struggles. But she's an adult now. Even if her past shaped her, I can't accept someone who tries to take her brother's belongings even after his passing. You have every right to feel that way. And please, don't hold back with us. The fact that you still keep close to me even after Andrew is gone means the world to me. Samantha, are you still squatting in my apartment?
Excuse me? You really are a persistent woman. Just give up already.
This is your final notice. Leave immediately. If you insist on staying, I'll take the necessary legal steps.
Oh, what now? You're going to call the police or something? Go ahead, it's useless, totally useless. It's already ours now. And besides, you can't evict tenants unless you're the owner, right? Even if you call the police, they won't care. It's pointless, completely pointless.
Even so, it's a deterrent. just letting the police know that you're illegally squatting there carries weight.
Oh, a deterrent, you say? But we have the keys, so we'll just keep coming back. Anyway, if the mortgage hasn't been paid off, it's not like you can sell it easily, right? And since the property is still in Andrew's name, there's nothing you can do about it. Oh, and by the way, all the documents needed for transferring ownership, they're here in this house. And I burned them, so good luck trying to change the ownership now. Too bad for you.
You're making absolutely no sense. Are you really sure about this?
Uh-huh.
Whatever happens later, I won't take any responsibility.
Of course not. This is our victory. Why don't you go camp out somewhere, huh? Enjoy your new life outdoors. Lisa, explain this to me.
What's going on?
I just got a message from Mom. She told me that the family inheritance isn't going to me, but to you. How is that even possible? Why would someone like you, an outsider, inherit my family's assets? This doesn't make any sense.
Ah, that. I already told you. If you refuse to leave this house, I would take appropriate measures. You see, when Andrew was diagnosed with cancer and told me his time was limited, he became deeply concerned. He worried you might target not only his inheritance, but also the family's inheritance after his passing. He knew your nature all too well. So he took steps during his remaining time to ensure that wouldn't happen.
This has nothing to do with that. I'm asking why you, of all people, are inheriting the family's wealth.
It has everything to do with this. If you hadn't tried to forcibly claim his inheritance, none of this would have escalated.
What are you saying?
Let me explain. Before his passing, Andrew had a serious conversation with Diane. He requested that if you, Samantha, ever tried to forcibly take what wasn't yours, she should ensure you wouldn't receive any of the family's inheritance. He understood exactly what you do after his death. She agreed, thinking it would be a safeguard. Of course, she never expected you'd actually behave so greedily. She's stunned that you've proven Andrew's concerns were justified.
This is outrageous. Andrew made up all these conditions without consulting me. This is a total setup. And you're lying. You've always hated me, and now you've manipulated my mom to cut me out? That's disgusting. As the eldest daughter, I deserve the largest share of the inheritance. I earned it after everything I've endured growing up.
Be that as it may, the decision was made between Andrew and Diane. I had no part in it, and now it's out of my hands. But Samantha, don't you think it says something that your own brother went to such lengths to prepare for this? Perhaps it's time you reflected on how abnormal your obsession with money truly is. And let's not forget, leave that apartment immediately. It belongs to me now.
Yeah, right. Why should I leave? I told you, this belongs to us now. Besides, we have nowhere else to go.
Why don't you return to the house you lived in before?
We sold it already.
Oh, in that case, I'll give you a little time. 3 weeks. No, let's say a month. That should be more than enough for you to pack up and find somewhere else to live.
Are you kidding me right now? I just told you we can't go back to our old house.
A month is plenty of time to find temporary housing. If you're not picky, there are plenty of options available.
We're not leaving. Stop repeating yourself and start listening to me. You scammer!
Jeez, what now?
Don't play dumb with me. There's a weird old man living next door.
Next door? Oh, you mean Mr. Hayes?
You tricked me. You didn't tell me the neighbor was a lunatic.
Calling him a lunatic is incredibly rude. He's just a grumpy old man. Knowing you, I'm sure you didn't take any noise precautions, did you? Even with soundproofing, 4 kids running around would be noisy. It's impossible to block out all the sound entirely. You're the type that lacks basic societal manners. So you probably watch TV on high volume or make noises late at night without a second thought.
Exactly! That old man barged in yelling at us out of nowhere, and I've had enough. I've called the police, but he still bangs on the door every day. I even went to the building manager, but since I'm not the registered tenant, they won't do anything. It makes no sense. You knew this would happen, didn't you? You dumped this place on me. You're the worst. This is fraud.
I didn't dump anything on you, so stop twisting the facts. We lived in that apartment peacefully for years, you know? Sure, there were some issues at first, but we built a decent relationship with the neighbors over time. We greeted each other and maintained a good rapport. But you lack the ability to be considerate like that, don't you?
Why should I have to care about other people? Kids are noisy, everyone knows that. If people can't accept that, no wonder the birth rate is dropping.
That's completely irrelevant right now. You're in this mess because you didn't show any consideration for the people around you. If you can't make an effort to avoid neighborhood disputes, maybe living in an apartment isn't for you. Well, you won't be living there much longer anyway.
What did you say? Lisa, what's going on? The real estate agent just showed up and told me to move out immediately.
That apartment has been sold.
What? How?
I'm sorry, Samantha. I thought it might take longer, but it ended up selling much faster than I expected.
That's not the point. What about the loan? There's still a mortgage, isn't there?
That has been cleared.
No way! How?
You might not know this since you've never owned a property, but some people choose to take out mortgage protection insurance when they buy real estate.
Mortgage protection insurance? What's that?
It's an optimal insurance policy that pays off the mortgage if the borrower passes away, so the remaining family isn't burdened with the payments.
But this place is in Andrew's name.
Oh, I changed the ownership a while ago. The papers you claim to have burned were just old documents from when the apartment was first purchased. So, from the beginning, I've had the rights. You've just been making assumptions and doing whatever you pleased here, haven't you?
How was I supposed to know about the insurance or the name change? You never said a word.
No, I didn't.
Why didn't you tell me?
It's not something I needed to inform a distant relative about. You seem to genuinely believe that since it was in Andrew's name, his family automatically had the right to live there. But once inherited, it became mine. Surely you're not going to claim my property as yours too, are you?
This isn't fair. The old house is already sold and we have nowhere to go now.
That's why I told you to find temporary housing, didn't I? It's impossible to look for a place now. I have 4 kids. What am I supposed to do? Then you'd better start looking for a short-term rental immediately. You've made your bed, now lie in it. Honestly, how long are you going to keep this up? I was thrown out of my place with nothing but the clothes on my back. You trampled over the home where Andrew and I created so many precious memories, and now you're trying to play the victim? But this apartment was something he left behind, wasn't it? Why would you sell it? You're heartless. Because I'd rather sell it than let you continue to desecrate it any further. This is unbelievable. My whole plan is ruined. And it's all your fault. I finally got my hands on a luxury high-rise apartment with a great view. But then the neighbor turned out to be a lunatic. You changed the ownership without telling me, and I got kicked out. And now I'm stuck living in this tiny Airbnb. This is just too cruel. You're really talking like you're the victim here. Everything that happened is the result of your own actions. I warned you ahead of time, didn't I? You refused to listen, and this is the outcome. But because of you, all my family's money is gone. At this rate, my kids will starve to death. Are you just going to stand by and let that happen? Your financial problems have nothing to do with me. And didn't you say you sold your previous house? You should have had a decent amount of savings from that. Where did all that money go? Well, I thought we could just live in a high-rise apartment like it was no big deal, so I felt safe spending it. We went on family trips and ate at nice restaurants. And before I knew it, it was all gone. If I'd known this would happen, I would have saved some of it. I don't even know where to start with this. Are you seriously okay? Like, mentally? You just assumed on your own that you could live in a luxury apartment with no one saying anything to support that. You didn't listen to anyone, and now you're wallowing in delusions of being the victim. This isn't normal. I am normal. That's so mean. What you just said is outright slander. Making fun of me like that, it's clear outsiders are useless. If this were family, they'd help me no matter what in a situation like this. But someone like you, who's so unreasonable, heartless, and incapable of empathy, wouldn't even care if your actions ruined someone's life. I should have known from the start that you'd never take responsibility for anything. People like you are the reason victims have no choice but to suffer in silence. Are you describing yourself? Because everything you just said about me applies to you, word for word. Honestly, I'm so stunned, I don't even know what to say. I've sent you the messages I exchanged with Samantha. As you can see, she completely believes she's the victim here. You're right. It's honestly embarrassing to read. Diane, how have you managed to deal with her for so long? I'm completely exhausted, to be honest. I'm so sorry, Lisa. I've tried countless times to reason with her and even went to the apartment multiple times to talk sense into her, but she wouldn't even let me in. And, to top it off, she's been asking me for money as well. What? She's asking you for money too? Yes, she is. I understand that she resents me because of the struggle she endured during her childhood. I accept that. But any time something happens, she immediately uses her position as my daughter to demand money from me. Even when I say I can't help, she refuses to listen. She keeps bringing up the past, saying things like, "You shouldn't have had kids if you were poor." At this point, I don't think she even sees me as her mother anymore. To be honest, you feel much more like a daughter to me than she does. That means so much to me, Diane, but I've reached my limit too. She's become something I never imagined, a monster. She's willing to steal from her own brother even after he left behind everything he could for you while knowing his time was limited. She's no longer my daughter, but you're the woman my son loved. I'll protect you as if you were my own daughter. And as the mother who failed and allowed such a monster to be born, I will take responsibility. You won't have to suffer anymore because of her. Just leave her to me.
Mom, I need a favor. We're running really short on money this month. Can you help out just a little?
I already transferred you money last month. Did you spend it all already?
Of course I did. With 4 kids, money disappears in an instant. No matter how much I have, it's never enough.
Even so, I always made sure to send you more than enough. Why are you always short?
Well, this time it's because of her. That despicable sister-in-law. She promised to give me the apartment because she felt bad living in a place under Andrew's name. But instead, I ended up in a place with a crazy neighbor, who's now demanding compensation. It's so bad right now. If I don't pay, who knows what he'll do to me?
Since when did you become so comfortable lying?
What?
I can't believe a single word you say anymore. Do you think I don't know? I talk to Lisa often. I know everything you've been doing.
Wait. Are you serious? Why are you in touch with her? She's not even family anymore. So why do you believe her over me? Andrew's gone, so she's just an acquaintance now. How can you trust her and not me?
It's simple. Because you lie. Over and over I've told you to stop taking what doesn't belong to you, but you never listened. And I no longer consider you my daughter. This is the end. We're cutting ties today. Don't ever show your face in front of me.
Wait, what? How can you say that? I'm your only daughter. And what about your grandkids? Are you going to abandon them too?
Yes. Because of your actions, they have lost their grandma. Both of my children are gone now. That's how I'll live the rest of my life.
That's too cruel. So you're just throwing me away because I'm a financial burden?
No one said that.
That's exactly what this is. You start running a small business, get a little rich, and suddenly a daughter with kids who costs money isn't worth keeping around. You made me suffer through poverty, gave me nothing but struggles. This is no different from abuse.
Enough. Yes, you struggled, and I'll never deny that. That's why I made sure you went to the schools you wanted and took as many lessons as you wanted. I tried to make up for the financial hardships with love and care. But in the end, it meant nothing, did it? You've grown into an adult who blackmails her own mother. Shame on you. From this moment on, we're strangers. And since you insist that outsiders should be treated harshly, I'll make sure you feel the same.
Mom, this is too much. We're already struggling without money. If Jason loses his job, how are we supposed to survive?
That's your own doing.
Jeez. Why did you suddenly fire him?
He worked for me only because he was family. Frankly, his performance was mediocre and his attitude was insufferable. The other employees have resented him for a long time. Even so, because he was my son-in-law, I avoided drastic actions. I gave him verbal warnings and moved him to different departments to handle the issues quietly. But now, since we're no longer family, there's no need for that leniency.
You just fired him out of the blue. That's an abuse of power.
Out of the blue? Not at all. He was warned repeatedly. He was told that unless his attitude changed, action would be taken. But he just laughed it off and gave half-hearted excuses. That's why he earned so much criticism and dissatisfaction from his co-workers. Frankly, I was already planning to demote him, so this outcome was inevitable.
But without a job, how are we supposed to take care of our 4 kids? Help us! If you hate him so much, just demote him, but let him stay at the company. We have huge credit card bills piling up, and losing his job now would be a disaster.
That's a result of your own financial mismanagement. It's not my responsibility.
You're so heartless. How much more do you intend to make me suffer? You made me endure poverty as a child, and now you're condemning me to a poor life as an adult?
Didn't you say it yourself? People who can't afford to should not have children. You are absolutely right. But poverty isn't just about money. It's about the emptiness in your heart as well. And your heart has always been impoverished. Fill that emptiness with something other than money. That's the last thing I'll ever say to you as your mother.
What? Last thing? Wait, Mom! Please don't leave me!
After losing his job, Jason started working part-time to support his family. However, his income dropped to less than half of what it had been, plunging the family into deeper poverty. This led to constant arguments between the couple, and with their 4 children always causing a ruckus, noise complaints began to pile up. As expected, they were evicted once again. After moving from place to place, their living conditions worsened to the point of desperation. Under severe mental strain, Samantha eventually lashed out at her children, and a neighbor who witnessed the incident reported her to Child Protective Services. As a result, she was arrested. Following her arrest, Jason disappeared, leaving the children to be placed in foster care. Although they were spoiled while growing up, the children themselves bear no guilt for their circumstances. I sincerely hope they can find happiness in the foster system and grow into responsible adults. As for me, I sold the apartment and moved away from the place filled with memories of Andrew. I now live in a small, sunny house in the suburbs with a cozy garden. I've started gardening, a hobby I had always wanted to try, growing vibrant flowers of various colors. Occasionally, I host tea parties for my friends, serving homemade treats and herb tea from my garden. Before he passed, Andrew told me he wanted me to start a new life in a new place so I wouldn't feel lonely when he was gone. As he wished, I've been slowly finding peace in my new life and enjoying the gentle, calm days that come with it.
Thank you for watching. Please rate the video and subscribe to our channel. See you in the next video.